I spent 5 years becoming my ex-boss's boss after he fired me while my wife was in the hospital. Yesterday was his performance review when Sarah was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. I thought things couldn't get worse. Then my boss Richard called me into his office. I'd been missing work to take her to chemo and apparently that was affecting team morale. We're going to have to let you go, he said, not even looking me in the eye. The company needs reliable people right now. I needed that health insurance. I needed that paycheck. I begged him to reconsider. Business isn't personal, he shrugged. You should have thought about this before letting your personal problems interfere with work. I remember walking to my car with a cardboard box of desk plants and family photos, calling Sarah to tell her I'd lost my job. She was still recovering from her treatment that morning. I'll never forget what she said. We'll figure it out. We always do. 2 days later, I had 3 job interviews lined up. A week later, I took a position at one of Richard's biggest competitors, part a smaller company, but with better benefits. They actually gave a shit when I explained my situation. My new boss even adjusted my schedule around Sarah's treatments for the next 2 years. I went into overdrive during the day. I worked my ass off. At night, while sitting next to Sarah's hospital bed, I got my MBA online. When she was feeling stronger, she'd quiz me on business strategy or help me prepare for presentations. Fighting cancer became our shared mission. Fighting for our future became mine. Sarah beat cancer after 18 months of hell. I beat every sales target my new company set. When they created a new management position, I applied. When the preman's of Salias retired, I was the obvious choice to replace him. 3 years after Richard fired me, our company acquired his. The economy had tanked. Their stock had plummeted, and we scooped them up for pennies on the dollar. I heard through the grapevine that Richard was terrified of losing his job in the merger. Yesterday, the HR director asked if I'd be willing to do performance reviews for the absorbed employees from my old company. Richard was last on the list. You should have seen his face when I walked in. The blood drained completely. He started stammering about how good it was to see me, asking about my wife like he actually gave a shit. I sat down, opened his file and said, "Business isn't personal, right, Richard? That's what you told me when you fired me while my wife was fighting cancer." He looked like he might throw up. But here is the thing, Per and I disagree. Business is extremely personal. It's about people. And the way you treat people matters. I slid a document across the table. You are not fired, Richard. Instead, you are being transferred to our Pittsburgh office to head up the sales training program. It's a lateral move, same pay. The catch is your new boss will be Sarah. Yes, that's Sarah Cobbin. She joined our leadership development program last year after her cancer went into remission. He tried to argue, saying he couldn't possibly relocate. You have 30 days to decide. That's 29 more days than you gave me. I stood up to leave, then turned back. By the way, Sarah's really looking forward to working with you. She says business isn't personal, but payback absolutely is.